rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Hey, I've been thinking about this in terms of, give me just a second. Let me knock this back just a little bit here. And let's go to 12. There we go. I've been thinking about this, and I, given the reaction of all of the Democrats, the way they treat people, the way they treat their own staffers, I honestly believe that you have to be mentally unstable to become a Democrat representative or senator or whatever. Yeah, I seriously do, because I'm starting to see this huge pattern. And the pattern basically is that you get in front of the cameras and you act like you are the most intelligent, the most sophisticated, the most welcoming, the most everything that you have, and then you get off camera and you're basically just a shit. I mean, just seriously, that's pretty much it. You're just a complete, total shit. I got a bunch on that for you here in just a moment, but first, I need to switch over the pledge because I forgot to do it yesterday, or forgot to do it today. Let's see, who did we? Oh yes, I think we ended with Pops. Yeah, and then Outlaw Dogs jumped in there, so there we go. So U.S. Abbey Girl is up for tonight's Pledge of Allegiance. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat, if you're wearing one like me, place your hand over your heart and follow along with U.S. Abbey Girl as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and I thank you, U.S. Abbey Girl, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and bring it, or send it, I should say. Send it to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. Don't forget, too, if you use a phone app to do this, you can ship it off to me by hitting share. That's a Buddy Weiser trick. You hit share to send it to me and send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. All right, tonight's headline sponsor is the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government, as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following three key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up. And while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online, or if you just want to get this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. Keep in mind, each one of these books contains genuine Roman numerals guaranteed to be in ascending numerical order, according to 3 Chevy. It's got sexy rounded corners. I can't forget that. Bonnie keeps reminding me all the time. It's got sexy rounded corners. All right. It's got 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue used here for the binding, folks. That is stitched all the way through. The leather in the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if something does go wrong with the product, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is, rest in peace, my friend, buddy tested, buddy approved. It is Billy tasted, Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you achieve your study for and achieve your civics badge in Scouts. It might also help you with your civics exam as well. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online to get yours today. And don't forget, this wonderful book will also help repel those leftist lunatics that are out there. Anyway, go to constitution.americanperspective.online to get yours today, and also go and check out the rest of the Institute on the Constitution for all of their wonderful offerings, and I appreciate them for allowing me to be an affiliate, a brand affiliate, or whatever it is that they call me. Anyway, all right. So first things first, we had Comey last week get indicted. Well, now, according to reports, Letitia James, the New York AG, is now indicted on a fraud charge. Now, of course, Letitia James has denied any wrongdoing in the case. But she was indicted by a federal grand jury today, on at least one fraud charge. Multiple media outlets reported, citing a bunch of anonymous sources. So, she was being investigated for mortgage fraud after the Federal Housing Finance Agency chief, Bill Pulte, alleged earlier this year that she falsely described her Norfolk, Virginia home as a primary residence in order to secure more favorable interest rates on a home mortgage loan. Pulte also said James may have inaccurately described her home in Brooklyn as well. A person who is familiar with the matter told Reuters, NBC, and other media outlets that the Democrat Attorney General was indicted in the Eastern District of Virginia on one count after a bank fraud investigation. Now I'm just waiting for good old Shifty Schiff to be in there and get it. Personally, I hope that these cases, while they are brought, I hope they are actually completed. Because this would all be one big mess if they only go and get a small amount taken out of whatever, either fines or whatever. I hope that she goes down hard for this. Same thing with Schiff. Same thing with Comey and all of them, because it would really suck if they ended up kind of like the Trump trials, where there was all much ado about nothing. But I think actually these ones have something to them. They actually have teeth. to them. There is evidence, complete evidence of all of this. Unlike the Trump trials, which had very little to no evidence. All right. Well, the Senate had an opportunity to open up the government again. Yeah, they rejected it, like usual. So this was earlier, and the Senate defeated for a seventh time 2 continuing resolutions to temporarily extend federal funding, as Democrats and Republicans present differing versions of the case, of the cause of the federal government shutdown, which of course we knew. The Republicans presented a continuing resolution that would extend current funding through November 21st. That resolution passed the House back in September. Now, the House Speaker, Johnson, was on a television program, and they were taking some phone calls. And this one woman jumped on and said, "Hey, Johnson, why don't you call back the House?" And I saw this on social media, so of course there was a comment section, and I placed the comment. I'm like, why would he? What would be the point to call back the House of Representatives? They already did their job. I mean, they already did their job. They passed the continuing resolution. They got the job done. See, this is what a lot of people don't seem to understand about our government and how our government works. And that is that, you got to have it pass both houses. Now, keep in mind, the Senate could change the resolution, and if they do change the resolution and it does pass, then it goes back to the House for the House to do their job. Now, in that particular case, absolutely, call the members of the House back from whatever vacation that they're on, bring them all back and then vote on the changes. But to sit here and blame Johnson for this problem, this is not Johnson's problem. This is not the House's problem. The House took care of business. The House did what they were supposed to do. And unlike what a lot of the Democrat and the sycophantic leftist lunatics, morons that are running around on social media, this is not a Republican problem. See, the Republicans may control the House and the White House, but they don't fully control the Senate to the point that is needed in order to pass this CR. A lot of people wonder why. How is this possible when the Senate is controlled by the Republicans? I mean, you have the Senate, the leader, Senate Majority Leader, being a Republican. How does this work? Well, it's pretty simple. It's called a filibuster-proof majority that is needed based on the Senate rules in order to be able to pass this continuing resolution, meaning that in the Senate, they need 60 votes. They only have 55 at any given point in time. And, Anyway, that's just crazy that that the Democrats keep trying to say this is a Republican problem. It's not a Republican problem. And in fact, even when they stand up in front of the cameras and strut their feathers like a damn peacock, this is not a Republican problem. See, the Republicans passed the continuing resolution. What the Democrats are really upset about is the ending of the health care subsidies that don't end until the end of the year. They don't end until January. The strategy, if you wanted to make everybody happy, Democrats, would be to pass the continuing resolution as it stands. It doesn't really change anything. It just keeps everything at current spending levels. It doesn't add anything It doesn't change any laws. It doesn't do anything like that. And all you'd have to do is pass the continuing resolution, open up the government, and then you could tackle healthcare all you want. But they are not going to do that. They are not going to do that. So, here we are. We're in the shutdown, so on and so forth. And I can tell you that there's a lot of people who are not happy about this, but the blame has to be laid at the Democrats' feet. Now, according to CNBC, IRS furloughs nearly half of its workforce due to the government shutdown. So the IRS, that stands for Internal Revenue Service, is furloughing nearly half of its workforce due to the ongoing government shutdown. That means there's about 34,000 IRS workers that are going to be furloughed, according to the agency. Another 39,870 employees, representing close to 53.6% of its workforce, will remain on the job. The announcement came as the federal shutdown entered an eighth day without an agreement from the Republicans and Democrats in Congress. Well, this is, we're still going out. So the Internal Revenue Service is going to get really, really slow. So, they said this was announced on Wednesday that it was furloughing nearly half its workforce. As I recall, there was some bill that was passed under Biden that increased the workforce or gave them another 87,000 or something like that employees. So apparently that hasn't ever gone down, because if you add up 34,000 and 39,000, that only comes to, 73,000 IRS workers. Anyway. Well, this is just, most IRS operations are closed, the agency said in a message to employees on Wednesday, due to a lapse in appropriations. An IRS-wide furlough began on October 8th, which was yesterday, for everyone except already identified, accepted, and exempt employees. The employees who are not exempt or accepted are furloughed and placed in a non-pay and non-duty status until further notice. However, all employees should plan to report to work for their next tour of duty. So, further furloughed IRS workers were told in a letter that they will receive back pay when the shutdown ends. So, there you go. So, not that, okay, so keep in mind, obviously, we don't want to necessarily affect the people involved, but at the same time, though, I'm just going to point this out, smaller government is where we should have been in the beginning. Now, reportedly, Chuck Schumer was interviewed on Wednesday from his Capitol office. And Chuck Schumer says, every day gets better for us. Really? It does? I'm not quite sure I follow you, Chucky. This is, again, goes into that whole, they've got to be, like, mentally, off their rocker for this. Because I'm still trying to understand and wrap my head around. You shut the government down over crap that you could argue later, that you don't even need, honestly, that doesn't even really do a whole hell of a lot. The whole healthcare thing, it's all a bunch of bunk. We know it's a bunch of bunk. Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act, is anything but affordable. So, I'm not quite sure I follow you there, Mr. Minority Leader Schumer. So, the White House put out a memo, or an article, I should say. They put out an article. Here, we'll take a look at it. Once I get it up on the screen, of course. So the White House put a memo out, and he basically says, Schumer taunts Americans as Democrat shutdown crushes them. So here's some of the things that are happening during the Schumer shutdown. So Schumer made the disgusting claim that every day gets better. And obviously the White House portrays that properly as a sickening display of elitist indifference as the Schumer shutdown plunges hardworking Americans into anxiety, despair, and financial ruin. So here's some of the things that are happening right now. Or will happen, I should say, because keep in mind, I mean, the military gets paid twice a month. Okay? So the longer this goes on, yeah, that pay is going to get back dated, or that pay is going to get held up. So, first of all, service members could go without pay. And they could. So they get paid, what's today? Today's the 9th. So they get paid in a few days. If they missed their end of month payment last month before the shutdown, which I don't think happened. So they would have had payment at the end of the month in September. They would be getting another payment in the middle of the month. So, so there you go. By the way, folks, Social Security is not affected by this. Social Security is going to keep going. Yeah, that's a misnomer. Social Security is going to keep going. And in fact, I even read an article last night to you guys in the beginning of the program that you're going to get October is going to be 2 payments. So it's going. I mean, that part is going. So anyway, military folks are going to potentially lose out here in the middle of the month. We have an air traffic controller who still has to work, even though they don't get a paycheck. So, that's a bit of a problem. We also have the additional people outside of this. Like a small business owner who had to lay off some of his employees after the Democrat Schumer shutdown because that shutdown triggered a stop work order on his projects. Federal contractors also look at a loss of income because of the fact that the government is shut down. You've got some of the impact of the people surrounding in the federal, Washington, D.C. area, like a hair salon owner whose livelihood depends on business from the large number of federal employees that are being furloughed. So anyway, you have the TSA agent who's expected to work again, just like that, just like the military. They have to go and work without knowing whether their next paycheck is going to show up. And of course, you have the government attractions and parks and things like that are shut down. Essentially, anything dealing with non-essential workers are shut down. So you have all that stuff, and so tourism is being affected. Well, get on the phone. Call your Democrats. Call the Democrat congressmen and representatives and give them a piece of your mind, because I'm telling you, it's all due to them. They are asking for something that is utterly ridiculous in my mind. I mean, why would you even want to keep emergency funding going? So, just saying. This is all in the Democrats' feet, folks. Don't put it on the Republicans. The Republicans may be in control for the most part, but they're not in a full control situation. And, I told you this before, after the elections and everything. We've been talking about it all year long. The Democrats, the Republicans are not in a veto-proof majority like what, say, Ronald Reagan faced with his Congress that was in place. So anyway. Sorry. Had to get a drink. All right. Well, this obviously is causing a little bit of stress on the Hill, and I got to admit, there are some senators, I should say, in the Republican Party that are actually demonstrating to these leftist lunatics of the Senate that, you could open up stuff tomorrow. You could open it actually today if you wanted to. Well, Representative Mike Lawler goes to Hakeem Jeffries. Now, Hakeem Jeffries is one of the... Now, keep in mind, these are two representatives. They're not senators, but they're two representatives. And, one of the things that kind of is interesting here is that the Republicans, at least in this case, Senator Lawler is actually pointing out that, hey, you guys are sitting here talking about all these subsidies and this healthcare problem and everything. Give us some time to discuss this. You're holding us basically hostage because of this healthcare crisis. Yet, we're going to give you something for this, and you guys are not even wanting to sign on. Here is a 2-minute and 45-second clip that is of the interaction, the video interaction between Representative Mike Lawler and Timu Obama. That's what they call him. Hakeem Jeffries. Right here. And take a listen.
We got a 1-year extension. Why don't we sign on right now?
Let me ask you a question. Did you get
right
permission
now?
from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald Trump?
You can easily extend
Did
the ACA
did your
right
boss,
now.
Donald Trump,
He's
give
not
you
my
permission?
boss.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way,
So let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to
Let me
shut
ask
the
you a
government
question.
down?
You
Why
know
did you
I
vote
did-
to shut it
Let
down?
me ask you a question.
For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to
No,
make
it's
yourself
sad.
relevant.
It's sad. You could easily sign on to
You're
this.
embarrassing yourself right now.
You could sign on to this. The only
You're
embarrassment
chasing
here is
clout.
you.
You're an
You
embarrassment.
could sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here.
Let me ask
Why
you a
won't
question.
you sign on
Let me ask
to
you a
it?
question.
It's a
Let
clean
me ask
extension
you a
for 1
question.
year.
You voted for the one big
Clean
ugly bill,
extension.
correct?
I voted for a
The
tax cut
largest-
bill that gave the
the
largest
largest
tax
cut-
cut
the
to
largest-
Americans in history,
the
including, by
largest-
the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing
Do you
yourself right
You want
now.
to cut the standard deduction in
The
half? Is that
largest
what you
cut
wanted
to
to do?
Medicaid in
No, we
American
rooted
history.
out
You voted
waste,
for that.
fraud, and abuse, by the
You
way.
voted
Tom DiNapoli, the
for a
Democratic
permanent-
controller of New York,
Let me ask you a question.
pointed out that $1.2
If
billion
you're gonna-
were wasted.
Listen, you're not going to
wasted,
talk. You're not going to talk to
wasted
me. You're not
on
going to talk to me
fraud
and talk
and
over
non-New
me
York residents
because you don't
getting
want to
paid.
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why
Go
don't you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed
that-
up.
is that the way to
you
talk?
showed up. You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one
I
big
signed
ugly
on
bill.
for this. You can extend it right
a
now.
permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors.
So 90% of
So
Americans.
they can get a permanent extension.
90% of
but
Americans
working
take the
class
standard
Americans
deduction.
can't? Is that right?
90% of Americans take the standard deduction.
Is that right?
If you had your way, the standard deduction would have been cut in half. That would have been a massive tax increase on Americans all across the country.
You're
You support
here,
that?
unfortunately,
You're against
to
lifting
do
the cap on
bidding
salt?
of your billionaire donors.
The
That's
billionaire
unfortunate.
donors, lifting the
That's
cap on
correct.
salt, we put a income cap in place.
Why are you here right now?
An income
Where the
cap.
re- where the rest
Didn't
of
you
your
want all
Republican
Republicans
colleagues?
to be here?
Where
I'm
the rest,
here.
Where are the rest of your
You
Republican
wanted
colleagues?
Republicans to be here. I'm here.
Why are you
And by
here?
the way,
What-
you can pass an ACA extension right now. Sign
your
on to this
boss-
bill.
Did your boss
Sign
Donald
on
Trump-
to the bill.
Is your boss Donald Trump behind that?
HR 5145. Why don't you get on it?
Mike, is your boss Donald Trump behind that?
Why won't you get on
Because
it?
you don't work for the American people.
Oh, I do. I
You
work
don't
for the people of New
the 7th
York. I
Congressional
work for the
District.
people of my district.
Is that why you? Is that
I'm
why
here.
You got 145.
And by the way, I voted
people
for
on
a
Medicaid.
clean CR to keep the government open and
Mike,
funded.
you're-
You voted to shut it
You're
down.
embarrassing yourself right
Yeah,
now.
leader, with all due
Well, as we
respect,
would say
you're
back
the
in the day,
one.
why are you playing yourself?
You're the one
Why are
who
you playing
actually
yourself with
voted
these
to shut the
theatrics?
government down.
Actually, you
It's
know
sad.
that's not true.
It's sad. You voted to shut the government
Listen,
down.
The Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the president.
Right, and
correct?
you're smart enough to know
Is
that
that
you
right?
need 60 votes in the Senate,
Is
right?
that right? No.
Do you need 60 votes in the
Were
Senate or no?
60 votes needed to pass your one big ugly bill?
So Mike Lawler was about ready to explain that, yeah, the 60 vote thing was needed for reconciliation bills like this. So, yeah, Mike Lawler, he's showing Timu Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, showing him that, hey, here's a extension. You guys are talking about the subsidies, the ACA subsidies, aka Obamacare subsidies. And he's standing there and he's like, yeah, here's the bill. All you have to do is sign on to this bill to get a 1-year extension, and then we can start talking. We can open up the government, get things back running again. And all you have to do, because this is your complaint, and this is the point, is that these are ending with no extensions on here. And he's holding a bill. He's like saying, hey, this will extend everything. Again, folks, look, this is the way to do this. If you're going to try and get both things done, this is the way to do this. The only thing that Jeffries could do in that clip is just sit there and talk about Lawler's boss, which, again, everybody who has a brain, you do understand that Congress has, Congress has the power of the purse. Congress is the one that creates this. And, by the way, folks, again, I'm just going to point this out. Congress is the one that puts the bills in front of Trump. Now, Trump can immediately go and say, I'm going to veto it because they don't have a veto-proof majority. But do you really think Trump, with his, we'll call it savviness, do you think he would be the one to say, hey, you guys, here's what you got done. I'm going to veto it and put all the blame on him? No, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that at all. See, folks, this is the problem. The Democrats own this. The Democrats own every single inch of this. First, they shoved the Affordable Care Act down the throats of the American people back in I think it was 20, I can't remember what the year was. But Obama shut down, or the Congress shut down the government for 17 days to shove Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act, down the people's throats. And yet, yeah, it was 2010 or 2011, I can't remember. But anyway, they shut it down for 17 days to get the Obamacare Act, the Affordable Care Act, passed. Then they extended, in an emergency situation, meaning COVID-19, the emergency situation, they extended some things, and now those extensions are going to go away, and the subsidies are going to go away, and that's what the Democrats are pissed off about. Now, Lawler's trying to do the magnanimous thing here and pass off, hey, we can extend it for another year, essentially kick it down the road, kick the can down the road so we can continue, open up the government, and have this fight at another time. Timu Obama, Dime Store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, obviously, doesn't think. He doesn't think. Now, Obamacare was and is, in my mind, unconstitutional. Never should have been passed in the first place. But then again, there's a bunch of things that are unconstitutional. that our Congress has been doing because nobody has bothered to rein them in. But Obamacare has clearly, I mean, even when you have the Washington Post sit there and say that Obamacare actually raised everybody's rates, which, by the way, that's what a third-party payer system does. That's exactly what our government does every single time. But, yeah. Oh, Jeffries. You are a complete moron. Now, one of the things that Lawler does point out, by the way, that the one big beautiful bill, which Jeffries referred to as the one big ugly bill, the one big beautiful bill actually gave anyone making under $500,000 a year, made their tax cuts from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act permanent. Meaning they received, if I recall correctly, depending upon your strata, meaning where you are in the list, anywhere from around 11 to 13% cut in taxes. That it was actually the rich, the billionaires, that didn't receive quite as much. In fact, they may have even, as far as the most, they may have even gotten I think a single digit deduction in taxes. So, yeah. They also, by the way, with the one big beautiful bill, changed the state and local tax known as the SALT deduction. They changed that. They bumped the amount that you could take back up to where it used to be, which was originally taken down by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So, yeah. Anyway, so all Jeffries really has, it's, Dollar Tree, Dime Store, Timu, Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, all he really has is to sit and yell at the Republican, who is essentially just sitting there and trying to explain to everyone, this is what we did. And it benefits the middle class the most, the lower class the second most, and the upper class the least. Unlike what the Democrats are trying to make you believe, which is not what's happening. Yeah. Lawler points out 90% of Americans received a tax cut. Not just New Yorkers, by the way. Not just New Yorkers. Even though he was pointing at New Yorkers because that's where Hakeem Jeffries comes from, is New York. But Lawler was basically trying to point out, hey, this is 90% of Americans received benefits off of this. 90% of Americans. They take the standard deductions and they get a tax deduction off of this. And that Hakeem Jeffries, in terms of the rollback, the standard deduction would have been cut in half if they didn't pass the one big beautiful bill. So, yeah. Anyway. He is such a pain in the ass. Now, this, of course, continued. Because, he asked Lawler challenges Jeffries on whether or not he's going to endorse the communist and city mayoral frontrunner Zohran Mamdani. Yeah. So the complete and total embarrassment to anybody that watched that video, the complete and total embarrassment is obviously Dime Store, Dollar Tree, Timu, Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, who obviously has no idea what he's talking about. None whatsoever. All right, folks. Let me talk to you really quick about this wonderful thing that you can get to avoid some of the ads and things like that and gain backstage passes to a lot of your favorite content here on Rumble. As you've probably noticed, Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. This is the free speech alternative to YouTube. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Rumble Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content that you came for. Plus, Premium members also unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off an annual subscription. All you need to do is go to rumble.com/premium. Those of you that don't know, the / is the question mark key. Okay. Go to rumble.com/premium, use the promo code STUDIO, STUDIO, at checkout, and get $10 off your annual subscription. That's rumble.com/premium using promo code STUDIO, and you'll get $10 off your annual subscription. No ads, more freedom, and content that you actually care about. That's the deal. Go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO to get $10 off an annual subscription to Rumble Premium. All right. Well, you remember that Katie Porter interview that I showed you last night? Well, it got a little worse. There was a video that I saw today. I couldn't find it for the show, but there was a video that I saw today of her recording some sort of, like, I don't know if it was a PSA or some sort of a message. And, look, if you're going to do this kind of thing, I mean, honestly, if you're going to do this kind of thing, set up a space like what I have. Okay? Set up a space where you can be undisturbed doing the recordings or doing your live broadcasts, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay? Set up a space. Because I guarantee you, if all you do is like record this thing in your kitchen, you have to expect that there's going to be people walking in the background. Okay? If you're sitting there and thinking that you're going to have a nice, clean, clear background, I mean, look at what I've got. I've got a nice, clean, clear background. Why? Because I have a green screen back behind me. That's the way that works. I can put up whatever I want back here. And the reason why I do that, of course, is because of the fact that I want a nice, clean background. Speaking of clean backgrounds, I just noticed I muted the audio on that. Let's bring the sounds back. Anyway, so Katie Porter is sitting there. She's doing some sort of a recording. I have no idea what she's talking about. But she's sitting there doing some sort of a recording. She's obviously in some place that has like a kitchen or something that's right behind her. But way behind her in the far, far background. Far background. I mean, I'm talking like out there by the sun kind of background. She's got, oh, don't tempt me, Coco. She's got some people that are working for her. And one of them happens to like step across into the shot and then does something in the background and then steps back over, apparently doing some kind of work. Well, she stops the recording or stops the whatever it is she's doing and starts cussing at her. I'm talking like full on, yeah, I wish she was drowning in the ocean. Anyway, talking about full on like F word and everything. Like, don't get in my shot, you effing ruined it. And I mean, just bitching at her. Rather than just saying, hey, yo, folks, guys, I'm recording here. Yeah, she throws out a few F-bombs. and some other choice words and bitches the hell out of her person. I mean, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And, yeah. It was just, I mean, these people are ugly. I'm telling you, they are just totally ugly. They are just completely ugly. They are ugly inside, and because of that, they are ugly outside. They can't handle this kind of crap. They can't handle the pressure, the pressure and the pain and the everything else. And by the way, they all are like completely out of whack when it comes to things like what's happening with the redistricting. Every single Democrat gubernatorial hopeful pointed out about the redistricting that this was something that was underhanded, that Texas was doing in particular. I'm going to tell you right now that the Texas redistricting was done because of a lawsuit. That's why. That's why. And for California to do its redistricting, you want to talk about underhandedness, this is exactly why California, if you are in California, vote no on Prop 50. The reason why I'm saying that is because of the fact that the Democrats are bypassing your Constitution, because you guys constitutionally, within your state constitution, cannot redistrict in between censuses. The Democrats are attempting to pass by your elected choice of an independent committee creating your redistricting. So that's 2 points right there. Let me do 2. That's 2 points right there. That the Democrats are attempting to cheat in order to supposedly offset what the courts required Texas to do, and what the courts are going to require Louisiana to do, that they're requiring Missouri to do. All of this stuff that's going on. And yeah, some of these people have literally no idea how our government is supposed to work. They think that gerrymandering is a bad thing, when they've been doing it for years. Gerrymandering is not a bad thing. Sorry about that. Anyway. Oh my gosh. I mean, I swear, these people, they gotta have mental instability problems. Seriously. So, Porter, a reporter, and Porter, which Porter is, Porter is the front runner. So, Porter tried to claim that Texas was doing this because of the fact that they're doing it because Donald Trump instructed them to do it. No, they didn't. Even Democrat Xavier Becerra, with a straight face, responded to the redistricting move, claiming that no one should take away a person's vote, when that's precisely what the Democrats are attempting to do in the state that they're in. The Democrats don't, I mean, again, it's not happening, but it's good that it is. Or, when we do it, it's fine. When you do it, it's bad, illegal, etc., etc. So anyway, these people, they've got to have some kind of mental screw loose. They can't accept reality. They can't accept what is really and truly going on. They have absolutely zero common sense whatsoever in all of this. Every single one, no matter what. All right. Speaking about that, let's move to Chicago, and let's go to the Chicago mayor. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. He was asked by a very savvy reporter. I'm just going to say this. He was asked by a very savvy reporter. His name was William Kelly. And he recounted a crime that actually occurred last month, in which an illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the street, bashed her head in, and raped her. Now, Kelly asked Johnson, if that had been your wife, would you want ICE to deport that illegal alien? Yes or no? And, Johnson just didn't really say anything. And said some kind of a snarky jab about Kelly's YouTube views having dropped recently. Now, of course, Kelly responded back and was like, hey, my social media views are much higher than yours. So anyway, then the reporter asked Johnson to answer his question. He's like, hey, answer this question as a man, not as the mayor, but as a man. Would you want ICE to deport that rapist? And once again, Johnson refused to respond. And Kelly, of course, is like, oh, okay, no. All right, so that's the answer. No, you wouldn't agree with it. Well, then Kelly also went on and ripped Johnson for his frivolous race baiting, saying that the minorities that he has spoken to are furious that their mayor prioritizes foreign invaders over Chicago residents. And this is true. And he goes, the real Chicagoans, this is Kelly, the real Chicagoans that I talk to, that I communicate with, mostly black and brown, actually, tell me that you don't seem to know the difference between illegal aliens and real Chicago citizens. And this is true. And he says they feel that you are siding with the illegal aliens over them and their communities. Yeah. So, yeah. Johnson, by the way, is actually under investigation for admitting that he usually hires black people because they're the most generous race on earth. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That in and of itself, by the way, is racist. Just saying, just letting you know that in and of itself is racist. They have absolutely no clue what they're talking about. They are completely lost. They have their mental capacity is gone. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, these people need to just go. They need to go. You need to vote them out. You need to get out of here. Well, there's an interesting survey that came out. We're going to shift gears here. There's an interesting survey that came out, and this, I'm going to tell you, this doesn't bode well for you young folks. This actually doesn't bode well for the country as a whole. So I've been talking about AI, which is artificial intelligence. And a lot of people, they seem to believe that ChatGPT or Grok or OpenAI or whatever, all of these people are, or all of these artificial intelligences are providing them with correct information. And I've proven, in terms of with Grok in particular, that anything this AI stuff does is garbage in, garbage out, meaning that if the input is garbage, then all you're going to get out of it is garbage. Well, now there's a new study, new survey data that finds, this is sad for our young people, finds that nearly 1 in 5 high schoolers say they or someone they know has had a romantic relationship with artificial intelligence. 42% of the students surveyed say they or someone they know have used AI for companionship. So this is according to new research from the Center for Democracy and Technology. It's a nonprofit that advocates for civil rights, civil liberties, and responsible use of data and technology. Now, they conducted national surveys. They had roughly 800 6th through 12th grade public school teachers. They had about 1,000 9th through 12th grade students and about 1,000 parents. The vast majority, 86% of students, 85% of educators, and 75% of parents all say that they used AI during the last school year. All right. That being said, though, and by the way, the chances are that the more that a student in particular reports that their school uses AI, the more likely they are to also report that they know someone who considers AI to be a friend, or that they know someone who considers AI to be a romantic partner. What the F, folks? I mean, it's fun to interact with AI. I mean, I have an Alexa, and I futz with her every so often. I'll give her questions that she may or may not be programmed to respond with. And it's kind of funny to hear the answers. But I don't sit here and believe that the AI is like my friend. I don't believe that the AI is my romantic partner either. Now, the survey found that higher levels of AI use in schools correlated with increased exposure to data breaches, troubling interactions between student and AI-generated deepfakes or manipulated videos or photos that can be used to sexually harass and bully students as well. Wow. So, yeah. Folks, AI is dangerous. I'm just going to tell you, AI is dangerous. We haven't yet learned what we don't know about it. Like I said, AI is only as good as the information that's going into it. And even then, it's sort of like Wikipedia. You never can trust it. Never can trust it. Now, some of these students, according to this survey, some of the students who attended the schools that use AI a lot, they found a trend that is also more likely that they or a friend had used AI for mental health support. Really? Really? They also used it as a companion, as a way to escape reality, and to have a romantic relationship. When students reported having conversations with AI systems for personal reasons and not for schoolwork, 32% of them said they used a device or software provided by their school. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine this. I can't even imagine this. Just wait until robots are actually even like become less expensive and are able to come into our environment and have a chat. Yeah. It's just it's folks, we have no idea what this new technology is going to do for us, or what it's going to do against us. I personally, I don't use any of that AI stuff, especially to validate anything, because I know for a fact that it's all about the programming. All about the programming. But anyway, we're not going to learn, I don't think. We are not going to learn. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. Once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, thumbs downs, or if you're 3 Chevy, thumbs sideways, across all my platforms, whether it's X, Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, Friday night. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.